If you lost everything tomorrow, would you still know who you are? Not just money, not just a job, your whole plan. One storm, one email, one phone call. Here's the strange promise inside that fear. Sometimes the day you lose everything is the day you get your life back. Zeno was a merchant, not a philosopher. He traded expensive purple dye, wealth that smelled like power. He knew numbers, contracts, and safe routes. And like most people who are doing well, he made one quiet mistake. He confused what he owned with who he was. Then the sea corrected him. A storm rose fast, sky collapsing, water turning violent, the ship twisting like it wanted to throw everyone off. Crates slid across the deck. Ropes snapped. Men shouted prayers they didn't believe in until that moment. And Zeno watched his cargo, years of work, vanish into black water as if it had never been real. When the ship finally broke, it broke more than wood. It shattered a sentence he'd been living by. I am safe because I have enough. He reached shore with salt in his mouth and a hollow where his pride used to sit. No possessions, no status, no story that made him feel important. Just breath, cold air, and the sound of people living as if nothing happened. He walked into Athens soaked and anonymous. The city didn't pause for his disaster. Vendors shouted, children laughed, doors opened, life continued. That felt cruel, until he realized the hidden gift. The world doesn't require you to be broken. It only requires you to take your next step. He drifted into a small bookshop. Warm lamplight, paper dust, quiet voices. On a table lay a book opened to a scene about Socrates, a man with nothing to sell, nothing to prove, and nothing to fear. Zeno began reading, and something in him, tight for years, started to loosen, because the page was saying what the storm could not say in words. Your life is not your cargo. Your life is your character. He looked up and asked the bookseller, almost like a desperate child, where can I find a man like that? Right then, a ragged teacher walked past the door, calm, barefoot, unbothered by the gaze of the world. The bookseller nodded toward him. Follow that man. That sentence was small, but it changed everything, because it gave Zeno something he hadn't had since the ship sank. Direction. Not a fantasy. Not a rescue plan. A next step he could actually take. So he followed. Through crowded streets. Past men in clean robes who looked right through him. Past merchants counting coins, like Zeno used to. Hands moving fast. Hearts moving slow. The teacher didn't give him comfort. He gave him practice. Simple tasks. Hard truths. No flattery. One morning, the teacher handed Zeno a clay jar filled with lentil soup. Carry it through the marketplace, he said. Zeno obeyed, then tried to hide the jar beneath his cloak. Because even after losing everything, he was still afraid of one thing: being seen. The teacher watched him hesitate. Then, without anger, he struck the jar. It cracked. Warm soup spilled down Zeno's legs. People stared. Zeno turned to run, and the teacher called after him. Why run? Nothing terrible has happened to you. In that moment, Zeno felt the second shipwreck. Not of cargo, of ego. He saw it clearly. Shame is a leash, and most people keep it tied around their own neck. That day, he stopped worshiping the opinion of strangers. He started building something the sea couldn't drown, and the crowd couldn't steal. A steady mind. This is how rebuilding really works. Not with a sudden new you. Not with a perfect plan. But with repeated small choices, made while you still feel shaky. Zeno learned to separate what he could guide: his choices, his effort, his attention. From what he could never guarantee, luck, applause, perfect timing. And here's the real twist. The storm didn't only take his wealth. It took his chains, the fear of losing face, the hunger to look successful, the pressure to keep up with people who were also drowning, just more quietly. If you're facing a loss, listen closely. The pain is real, but the meaning is not fixed. You get to choose what this becomes. For the next 24 hours, try this two-part move. First, release one thing you've been clinging to. A purchase, a habit, a story you repeat to feel safe. Second, rebuild with one small action. Send the email, make the plan, write the first line, take the first walk. Not your image. You. Comment. I can stand. And take the next step.